podcast, whatever you want to call it.
Produced by Bapple.
Produced by Steve's giant Bapple stash over there in the background. You got a story there. There's why do
Yeah.
you have so much Bapple?
So, all right, let's run it down. So it's actually quite hilarious. So this was the week of Dega, Tuesday night. A buddy of mine calls owns a liquor store down in Grayson, Georgia, which is other side of Duluth. And he's like, "Hey man, I've got a whole pallet. If you want it, come get it." He goes, "I'm not telling anybody else. You're gonna be the first one to have it." I was like, "All right, great." I drive all the way down there. I load up the bed of the pickup truck, the Danger Ranger, load it full clean to the top. Nothing but Bapple, right? Type of greed they talk about in the Bible. Like, I didn't know if anybody else was going to have this anytime soon. So a couple days go by. I'm like, all right, we're packed ready for Dega. Like, the whole bed of the truck is full of Bapple. A case for you, a case for JP, case for a couple other people. Anyways, and our buddy Kenny, K&M Barbecue, you guys know that. He calls me and he goes, "You're not gonna believe this, man. They got it at our local liquor store. You just
The
drove like
morning after.
the morning after at that." And I'm like,
We get a snap in the group chat, and
yeah,
it's at the liquor store, around the corner from Steve's house, and they've
yeah,
got
like 5 minutes from my house. I drove 236 miles
for nothing.
for nothing, but it was worth it because it was the greatest beer run ever, and nobody can say it wasn't. Good times.
So, I, I don't know. Anyways, getting back on track, aside from beer run theatrics and making stupid decisions, we have a guest joining us. We got a dirt late model racer, TJ Steele, and we're gonna hop over to the screen that has him over here in a few seconds. But yeah, we're gonna chat with him for a little bit and ask some questions and talk about his racing career so far. And after that, Steve and I will preview some stuff we got coming up, and that's pretty much all we have on the agenda tonight. So let's go ahead and swap over. So welcome to the show, TJ.
Thanks for having me.
And the audio is sounding a little bit better now. So
Oh, there we go.
that's a little bit better. So first off, start off telling us a little bit about you and where you race, what you run, and just the basic facts.
Okay. Well, I started out racing go-karts when I was 8 years old at Sunset in Bayleton. Took a little break. About 19, I got back into go-karts and then took another break. And then I jumped right into 604 late models. And people thought I was crazy just for making that jump. But it's been a huge transition. I mean, going from a go-kart to a late model and the suspension, everything's different.
So like what um when it comes to the 604 and jumping into the late models, how long does it take to really adjust to that? And are you still trying to get adjusted? How long has it been since you made that jump?
I was about to say I can't even answer that because I still haven't got adjusted to it. I mean, dude, I started out in the '07 GRT and it's been rough even trying to get it around the track compared to all the newer cars. And that's why I'm excited about this year's because I've got a 2021 Black Diamond I'm about to roll out and hopefully the Saturday at Mountain View.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that car sitting there behind you and what's it been like getting it ready.
Uh, it's been a little rough. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, because I don't know if I sent you the pictures, but we went to Black Diamond and Ronnie Stuckey, he was really nice and he pointed that chassis out to me and before I could even say yes, he already had it low on the trailer and we brought it up here in October and it's been like a slow process because finding the parts and getting everything I need and taking my time because a lot of guys they'll make jokes about oh we need to rush and I'm just like you can't rush it because if you do something bad might really happen then.
Hmm. You want to get the next one, Steve?
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the current car and you're
I
running.
just
Oh, that's right. You just said that question.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, helps if I read a little bit. So, who are some notable folks that have helped you along the way so far in your racing career?
The biggest one is my wife, of course. Wouldn't be possible without her. Number two would be Kenny Hall because I remember I bought headers from him and he gave me this deal telling me about how everything was going to go. He's like, I need you to go ahead and get a 4 bar car because we picked up this Z Link and I wasn't going nowhere with it. So we get the car. And again, this goes back to not building too fast. In 4 days, I build this car up. I go out to the Bama Brawl. Man, I didn't make it qualify, and I destroyed the whole front end on the front of that car because it didn't take my time, of course. But me and him, I brought it to the shop one day, and that's pretty much where it all kicked off because I told him flat out, I was like, look, I have no idea what I'm doing here, but I need some guidance. I need some help and learn a little more about what to do. And man, between 2.5 years now, the whole world's changed for me. Between meeting all these new drivers and getting the opportunities I am now.
You kind of just you talked about some of the people in this community, and we got one of them in the comments here, Casey Clark. I know he's another racer up that way. What's
Yes,
it like?
I
What's
love
it like?
Casey Clark, and he is a good guy. We joke all the time, and I mean that's the thing about this racing community is we are all so close. Even if we don't really get to talk for a few minutes, because it's a rush in the pits trying to get ready for these feature races. But man, all of us are the same way. We give our shirt off our back to help each other,
I was gonna
and
say
there's more people to thank, like Casey Hall. He's Kenny's son, and he's one of the most winning drivers at Fort Payne. He's took me under his wing too, taught me a lot. And then Ron Phillips from Daytona One, my sponsor, he's been very big with me, helping me get all the Daytona One products I need. And then I've got Snap On with Bruce Massey, and then Pop Bit with Thomas Easton, and Daniel Riggins has been a huge help for me, especially through the past few years because he's helped pay pit fees, entry fees, whatever I needed. And man, the list just goes on. I can't be grateful for the people I have.
I'm gonna circle back to sort of the same topic later on, but I'll let Steve get this next question here.
So, do we? I think we just covered. Oh no, no, it's not. So, what's your ultimate goal for what you want to do in racing? Say, where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years? You want to move up to a bigger car? I mean, change chassis around. I mean, what's the end goal here?
That's something we talk about here daily at the shop. It's basically a warehouse, and we work on a lot of cars with KHR, and we've got about 13 cars we get to work on. And I think I sent Reed a video not too long ago. We've got like 15 cars up here right now. So we'd love to get more into working on cars, but my dream is to race supers one day. I'm by far not ready for it yet, but I'm hoping in a few years I'll learn a lot more, especially with the newer chassis, because they tell me like the GRT is notorious for being tight, especially for the year it is. But with this being a 2021 Black Diamond, it has more travel on the right front. They say basically these newer cars just steer themselves.
There's there's so much validation in the on track stuff, right? And getting good results and getting the trophies, but how crucial is it to have these behind the scenes things go together and mesh and work just right? And how big of a deal really is it?
It's a really big deal. I mean, a lot of people they see the wins and they see people changing tires, but I mean, the geometry of these cars, the adjustments we make, and especially the track conditions. I mean, you could have a nice, tacky, hammer down track, and car's great, feels a little tight, but we can get around the track. Next thing you know, track starts slicking it off. We've got to make adjustments because now the car's starting to get loose.
Hmm.
I mean, it's one of those things that like you really do not see everything that goes on in the shop. You'll get a little bit of a play if you look in the pits or you're in the pits. Till you're really hands on, you aren't going to experience what it really takes to get out there and compete at the higher levels.
Have you found one particular track that maybe throws a bigger wrench into things than the others, maybe a little more difficult to handle and approach?
It's funny you asked that. Me and my wife was talking about not too long ago. Our home track is Fort Payne, and I told her it makes no sense to me, and I don't know if other drivers are like this, but I go to Fort Payne, and it, it's a different track every other night. I mean, sometimes it'll be hammered down, sometimes it'll be real slick, and I have to always make adjustments and changes because you think racing your home track, you'd have that notorious setup, and that's all you'd run. But for some reason, I can go to like I-75, Mountain View, Magnolia, and all these other tracks, and I love it. I have more fun getting out of state and racing than I do in state sometimes. And I told her, I said, I think it's a pressure thing. Like if I feel like more pressure's on me, I do better. But if I feel like it's one of those just relaxed like sceneries, I don't do too hot in it right now.
You talk about pressure, and like Fort Payne being the home track, obviously the home crowd, there's more pressure there. But like you were talking earlier, there's so many people that help out there at Fort Payne. You got your buddies like Casey. Like overall, when I remember I went there a few weeks ago, and it seemed like it was such a different like family atmosphere than some other tracks. Some tracks nobody talks to each other, and especially these bigger events, nobody's sharing anything. But you go to Fort Payne and everybody's chatting with each other, friendly as can be, and like you know, have you found that's kind of a unique thing there?
I was about to say the two tracks it, with my background would be Fort Payne and Talladega. Those two, I can go to almost any spot of the pits, and I know just about everybody, and everybody's welcome and can talk to me. I borrow parts. Whenever we're getting ready to go out to race, my wife was laughing. She's like, your phone rings off the hook. And I said, yeah, because I've got 6 or 7 guys calling, seeing if they
Mm.
got, we've got extra parts for them or what we're going to be changing tonight. And I mean, that's one of the biggest things why I do like racing at home is because of the family atmosphere, especially it being relaxing kind of nights. But lately, you go out of state and you're like me, I'm very unknown. So everybody's kind of looking at me like, who's this guy? And I don't know. TikTok's kind of picked up for me, and now Snapchat. It blew up out of nowhere with people adding me, and I've made a lot more friends, especially in the Tennessee and Mississippi area.
What's that you mentioned TikTok? What's the social media side of stuff like? Having a bit of a following, and yet the dirt racing scene's not the biggest compared to the stock car, NASCAR, all that stuff. But to have sort of a following there, how much do you think that kind of helps not only your stuff but just the whole discipline?
That's one thing. My buddy Dalton Cook, he mentioned not too long ago, is anytime you leave out, you're advertising for yourself. You're marketing for yourself, and how are you going to sell all of this to these people? And go ahead.
I I didn't
Oh,
ask him.
It's echoing a
but
little bit, so that's probably what
Yeah,
he's
it's
hearing.
probably an echo.
I got you. But that's one thing is I hear from a lot of people all the time. They're like, "How do I get sponsors?" They mention we've got sponsors on our cars. They've raced for 3 years and they have a hard time getting sponsors. And I always try to explain to them, like, look, most businesses have a window that you need to get into to even get sponsorships. And I love my videos, and going to these people and showing my videos shows proof that this is me, this is who I am, and this is what I do. Because I'm not bashing people, but it is known that some people they just want a pretty race car and they want to let it sit in the shop. And here that's not us. I mean, we work day in day out on race cars, and we go out there and we try to race with who we can. And man, it's just one of those things. Racing is very expensive, so you've got to chase the money.
Hmm. Absolutely, and I think I pretty much covered all my bases stuff I wanted to ask about. You got anything, Steve?
So, a couple questions. You said you race. You've mentioned Talladega, Fort Payne, Mongolia. Gosh, Magnolia.
Oh yeah.
Magnolia.
Man, I'm thinking Chinese food right now. I must be hungry or something. Um, But have you ventured any out into Georgia at all?
No, I have been to Georgia to watch races, but I have not gotten the opportunity just yet to race. Last year was a rough year for me because I ended up hitting a wall and flipping my GRT. So it took me a little bit to build it back and get back out there. And by the time I got out there, the season was about ending because I was close to going to North Georgia. And I'm very excited to go to that track, hopefully this year.
You should come hang out. That's the track I announce at.
Okay. So you're familiar with Brandon and all them then?
Very familiar.
Mhm.
They
I am.
cracks me
Yeah,
up.
you could say I know that track just a touch, just a wee little bit.
I wish they'd open Rome back up.
I don't even want to talk about that. That
Hmm.
that hurts me on so many levels.
I got to go one time and sit in the pits in the inside and watch a race, and I was like, you know what? Next year I'm going to be here, and they closed. Oh man, it
It's
broke
one
my
of
heart.
the strangest tracks I've ever been to. It's got one of the fastest back stretches of any dirt track I've ever seen. And it's like weird. It's uphill and going into 1 and 2, and then it's downhill going into 3 and 4, and it's slightly off centered, so it's not a perfect D shape. It's a weird. I don't know how to describe it. There's no
Yeah,
other track anywhere around that I can think of remotely that mimics that track, and it just hurts that it's sitting there. I understand why it's sitting there, but at the same time, it hurts your heart a little bit because Rome's a great track.
I remember standing on top of the trailer watching the feature race, and for some reason it just felt like I was dreaming. I just zoned out. I was watching everybody go around the track. I was like, holy cow.
Hey, Casey says that the Fort Payne posse's coming up there at some point. Steve, have some babbles ready.
It's only what, an hour and 45, 2 hours from North Georgia from Chatsworth. It's not that
I mean,
far.
heck, if what's his name can go from North Georgia to
Yeah,
Fort
Sam
Payne,
Jones.
Sam Jones, yeah, if he can
Sam
go from North
Jones
Georgia to
won
Fort
at North
Payne
Georgia
in
and
one
then
night,
go.
get 2 wins,
Yeah, he literally did it within a couple hours.
But honestly, I don't have too much left to ask. Thank you for taking the time and hopping on the show, and really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all for having me. It's been pretty fun.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If you ever want to do it again, you know where to get me. So, just feel free to reach out again.
All right, definitely. I will.
All
I'll
right.
see you guys later. Y'all take it easy.
Yes, sir. You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Let's go ahead and switch back over here. If Here we go. It's me and
Yeah, there
Steve.
we go. That was
Okay.
smooth.
So
We're
yeah,
finally getting the hang of this. It's only taken 18 episodes.
man. One day I will get this software
Hey,
worked
it's
out.
been a trial run.
One
One
and
and
a
a
half
half.
hours,
One
Casey
and a half.
says.
Okay, so it's not that far. An hour and 30 minutes.
But yeah. So thanks everybody for tuning in and watching TJ, and pretty much, you know, we got the same old stuff going, and Steve and I are going to our different races, and I've kind of had I guess a bit of downtime here lately. But coming up next weekend, I'll be at Hickory, North Carolina, Newport, Tennessee on that Thursday and Saturday for some ASA Stars racing. Steve, you've got all these tracks you announced. That what's
Oh,
up next
Jesus.
for you?
All right. All right. Friday night, Hunt the Front. You better be there. Sugar Creek. The creek will
Mhm.
rise. Officially will rise. I mean, it has been raining like crazy, so it probably has already risen.
Yeah,
But yeah, be there at Sugar Creek Friday for Hunt the Front. That's going to be a massive show. You better get there early. We've already had phone calls out the wazoo of, hey, you guys running? Hey, yeah. And so far, so good. We're still on. Saturday morning, I will be at Atlanta Motorsports Park for day one of the doubleheader. I think we're starting off with 2 strokes in the karting circuit. And then Saturday night, we've got North Georgia Speedway. I believe that's our third or fourth points race. I've lost count at this point. Everything kind of blurs together. Sunday, we'll be back at Atlanta Motorsports Park for round 2 of the AMP karting uh, doubleheader weekend. So that should be the 4 strokes. So 2 strokes, 4 strokes, or one day, 4 strokes of the other.
I know. I I get tired out just going to one track a weekend, and you're here going to three in like 2 days, man.
Yeah, and talk about calling hundreds of laps on top of that.
Hmm.
I miss the journalism side of it because I feel like I'm like slacking a little bit here recently because I haven't put out anything photography wise or uh,
There's
article
also
wise.
there's also not much you can do when you're up in the press box, you know?
Oh God, no! I've tried. I mean, you've seen what happens when,
Oh yeah.
and I apologize to people that tune in and I say I'm there, and then I get so sidetracked with trying to keep up with calling 10 other races between different heats. It gets kind of hard. And then you get to the main feature
Yeah.
and like, oh crap, I was supposed to do that. And it's already
You
after the fact, so it's pointless.
can only do what you can do, right? But
Yeah, exactly.
so yeah, again, thanks to TJ for hopping on the show with us earlier. And we don't do these as often as we used to, but we're trying to pick up the pace a little bit and get on these streams more. And we should have some more coming up. If not, end to see we're middle of May, so if not end of this month, beginning of next month, hopefully we can pick this back up and get some steam. I know we got some decent YouTube traction now with
Yeah.
a certain video that blew up on there.
All it took was the man that drives the Budweiser car.
Yeah, all it took was just typing Dale Jr. in the description and just
Yeah,
letting
and
the
it was
algorithm do
click,
its
click, click,
thing.
click, click. I promise it wasn't clickbait. It just happened to work like clickbait.
I mean, it's the Dale Jr. effect, you know.
Yeah, the
But
vortex theory and whatnot.
but yeah, so let's see. I got this weekend currently nothing. There is not a show or yeah a show me the money race in Montgomery. I unfortunately will miss it, but we should have some updates still coming from there. Got some photographers at the track. We should have some at least some updates and an article if nothing else.
Before we go any further, we need to shout those guys out. They help us
Hell
out
yeah,
week in and week out. We love them. That's Daniel Vining, and
Jason,
Jason Reason and
Rory.
Rory. Those three guys have saved our butts. I couldn't tell you how many times.
Oh yeah,
We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for being a part of this little family that we've got growing.
and hell, while we're on this topic of thanking people, we got to shout out some sponsors.
Oh yeah,
Obviously,
obviously.
Patriot Media and Marketing Services and Alec. If you're a driver and you want to reach out to Patriot, they can hook you up with all kinds of advertising services. Shirts or
Now
what,
hats.
what shirts, hats, uh, you know, social media posts, marketing, website, like anything that you can think of that'll help boost your brand. Patriot can help you out. And Alec and Grant, all the guys there do an amazing job. If seriously, if anybody watching, especially, any of you Fort Payne guys, I know that you're, it's a track that doesn't get a whole lot of coverage, which is another reason why I wanted to go there and help out. Like, if seriously, like, reach out to Patriot and they can probably help you out a little bit. And it seriously for the bang for your buck like aspect, Patriot can't be beaten. So,
Oh yeah, 100%.
um, but yeah, I mean, we've been at this for what 23 minutes now. Pretty
Yeah.
pretty decent stream so far. I don't know, man. It's been an interesting month with Dega and the Bapple beer run over there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Glorious
Everything.
Apple. Like I said, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cases, and then my fridge is slat full, and on top of one right here or two right here, got to do what you got to do. But speaking of got to do what you got to do, Jackson Boone, if you're watching, I have something for you.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
right there.
If you can get that to Montgomery,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
time
If
for
I could,
his pro late
I'm
model
supposed
race.
to. I'm supposed to be meeting him somewhere. I think next week. He was like, "Please, for the love of God." I was like, "I got you, buddy. Don't worry."
But yeah, I don't know. So y'all, everybody watching, you can, if you haven't tuned in, this is your first time. We usually, we always have a guest on, usually a driver, sometimes it's another industry professional. We talk racing, talk their career and things they've seen, people they've encountered, and we try to highlight some people that otherwise may not get a whole bunch of coverage, and trying to do our part there. Obviously, I had TJ on. I think we had, who was it? Was Casey before him, or no? It was
We
Jake Ware.
Jake Ware, yes, Jake Ware.
Jake
Then it was
Ware.
Casey.
Casey.
We've had a lot of dirt guys here recently.
Yeah,
We're a little out of our realm.
we got to throw in an asphalt guy at least a couple. You know,
You know what? We need Steven Chun, Jackson Boone. Who else can we get?
I'm sure we can get plenty of folks.
Yeah. We need Jake Finch on here.
Oh, dude,
That stream would go crazy.
It would, honestly. Um,
I just thought of a terrible, great idea.
might have to dig into that some now.
Yeah. Jake, I've got your hood on my wall. There's a funny story behind it.
Oh God,
Oh,
not the hood currently behind him. Another hood.
yeah. Oh, that was a good weekend.
That was a tiring weekend.
That was an adventure.
Derby weekends usually are.
Yeah.
But yeah. So as far as just what you can expect to see next couple weeks, Montgomery this weekend. Show me the money. Pro late models. Hickory and Newport next weekend. While I'll be covering those races for front stretch, if I can talk, there should still be at least some write ups, some other content, here with Liberty Racing Review from those events. After that, I believe it is the Nashville. Was it the Pro Late Model Nashville race? The following Thursday, have some NASCAR names there. I believe Josh Berry's running it. Ross Chastain ran it last year. Maybe he'll come back. I don't know, but expect some coverage from that. I'm gonna go to Huntsville Speedway in a few weeks. Another new track from me.
It's supposed to be the 31st, I think, if I'm looking at my calendar
yes, 31st. And as we head into June, first thing in June that I can remember is the Wisconsin doubleheader for ASA Stars National Tour. Again, that'll be front stretch, so follow along with me and my work there, and Chase Folsom, the whole staff over there. The grassroots department does a great job with their content, and so I'll be helping out with them for that weekend. And then
After that, I think the next asphalt I have on my schedule is the Southern Super Series at Fly Flags on the 27th.
Yep, gonna have some super late model action too.
You get both of us.
Whole bunch of different disciplines and tracks and areas of the country that we cover, and it's getting big, dude.
Yeah, we've grown a lot thanks to all the followers along the way, all the
Thanks
watchers.
to all these people tuning in, man.
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate you guys a lot. Without you guys, we obviously wouldn't be doing what we do.
Got some more Bush Apple shout outs.
There we go, Andrew.
But anyways, approaching the 30-minute mark, I'd say it's about all we got for this episode. Thanks for tuning in, and unless you got any last words, Steve, I'm about to awkwardly end this broadcast like we usually do.
No, the only thing I got is I got a lot of Bush Apple, and I'm going to drink a lot of it.
Praise God, baby.
Praise Ross Chastain.
So we're going to hit end broadcast and hope that's when it actually ends, and then have the awkward pause to see. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back at some point in the future, hopefully, and hope to see you then, whenever that may be.